Welcome to Well Read, a program about a little bit of this and a little bit of that at your Ames Public Library. I'm Jerry Hyde, Youth Services Manager at the Ames Public Library, and December is the month of giving, the month of gifts, and whether or not you are into the holiday season, we're going to talk about the gifts that you can give that will give all year long, meaning the gifts of books. And so I brought my Reader's Advisory expert who has shared this program with me for several years in a row. She's chosen some of the books here at the Ames Public Library that she thinks is worth giving all year long. And as you can see, we have some piles that we're going to talk about and some piles that are on our shelf. And that doesn't mean that we're going to talk about them all, but it does mean that it's on a display cube here in the Ames Public Library children's area and also on a book list that you can pick up and take. So there's much variety here for many people to take a look at and to use for all ages. So come on into the Ames Public Library and talk to some of our experts here. And today's expert happens to be Danielle.
Hi.
And hi, Danielle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
I know that many people have seen you here in the youth services area. We were just talking about it's been almost 7 years that you've been here.
In August it'll be 7.
So it's quite a long time, and I believe you and I have been doing this show for like 3 or 4 years.
I think so. Yeah.
So, and as with any length of period of times, things change, and I kind of hear that you have some news that you would like to share.
I do, and this is hopefully this will help patrons. I know sometimes it's hard to ask, but I am going to have another baby join our family in May.
So we have another library child that will be coming. And so some of these board books that we're going to talk about will be very important in your life again, as are some of the big brother, big sister. In your case, you have a big brother that will happen. So, so that's exciting, Danielle. And thank you for sharing. And I'm sure our customers will enjoy knowing that and being able to congratulate you without thinking, is she or isn't she? Yeah. So, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about some books. And I understand we're going to start out with that teenage.
We are. We felt like we always skip the teens, and so we're just going to talk about some great books for those kids in maybe 6th to 12th age range.
And kind of a hard person to get a present for or a gift for, but you've chosen some really cool books here.
Yeah. So this is one that a lot of people might know about. This is The Crossover, and it's by Kwame Alexander. And as you can see, it's got some medals. It won the Newbery last year. Also, let's see, was it an honor for Coretta Scott King? It was an honor. But this is just a fantastic book for anyone on your list, but especially maybe for those kids who are into sports. It's all about basketball, but you start out with basketball, and it goes into family and friendships and humor. Not to mention, if you have maybe a reluctant reader at home, it's in poetry, so it looks a lot shorter.
Yeah. So there's a lot of white space.
Yep.
So it's a kind of a fast read, but it's done also in a really nice rhythm too. That I was at the award ceremony, and that's how he gave his speech too. Was kind of in that rhythm of that. And when they announced it, they kind of did it in the rhythm of in the poem at poetry as well. So The Crossover, like you said, is a fantastic book. Troubles and tribulations of being on a team, of playing the game and having siblings, and but just a wonderful book to share.
Yeah.
And like
you might cry.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to. I suppose we should probably share that, shouldn't we?
You might cry.
It's a 2 Kleenex one, right?
Yeah, it really is.
So The Crossover by Kwame Alexander. And this one's got, who couldn't like this one?
Yeah. This one is actually by 3 different young adult authors, and it's called Let It Snow. And it is by some people that you'll probably know. So John Green.
Who doesn't know John Green?
Marie,
your teen knows John Green.
Your teen definitely knows John Green. Maureen Johnson, one of my absolute favorites, and Lauren Myracle, also fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's 3 interconnected holiday stories / romances. And the reason I pulled this one is it's an oldie, but oldie.
Oldie, but a goodie.
But it's actually going to be a movie next December.
Oh, so that we can get them prepared for those types of things.
So in 2016, this will be the next John Green movie. So I bet those teens will be soon, before they know it, chomping at the bit to read this one.
So for our viewers, if you don't know who John Green is, can you share a little bit about what movie just came out that he was in?
Let's see. If you've heard of the movie, oh goodness, The Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars.
He wrote that. He was probably the biggest name in young adult literature. If you talk to a teen, probably about, I don't want to say every teen knows them, but
the majority of teens, I think.
Yes.
And because it's divided up in the way it is, it's another one of those that are a very nice, quick read, but is a nice book that kind of meets everybody's, or a variety, because it's that romance, but yet not too much for those young boys as well, or those teen boys.
There's some fantastic humor. Maureen Johnson is just one of the quirkiest authors out there, and so she shines in this.
So Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Myracle. And you have what we call a graphic novel. Can you kind of explain what that is?
I do. So some people might know this more as a comic book, but we've changed to graphic novels these days. And basically, it's an illustrated novel. So it's a book that tells its story through both words and pictures.
And for the adult audience, or for an older audience.
Yep.
So it's not a children's picture book.
Right,
It
exactly.
definitely has a storyline that is for our young adult age. So
Yep.
tell us about this one.
So this is Lumberjanes, Beware the Kitten Holy. And it is just amazing. What it is it's a camp story about this cabin of 5 girls. And they're at this camp that's kind of like a Girl Scout camp. And interspersed in this book are just fantastic little snippets from the Lumberjanes handbook. So all about what badges you can earn and stuff like that. And so it's got some interesting media in there. And so they're at this camp, but weird things keep happening. For example, they get chased by a bear. They think it's like a werebear, stuff like that. And things are just going very strangely for them. So it's about them doing that.
And a typical camp type of story, because I think all movies and I just watched The Parent Trap with my grandchildren this last weekend, and it kind of reminds me of an older version of that, where
definitely.
Those things are happening and people are making them happening, and they're weird. You get a bunch of girls together and the stories that they tell, and the what they can make up.
Yes,
it's very interesting. So
yeah, it's really good.
Lumberjane, not lumberjack.
Yep.
Lumberjane. So, all right.
We're
gonna go to a younger age now.
Yeah.
So like your upper elementary, upper elementary.
Yeah, and so we're going to start with The Princess in Black.
And I know that you like this. We happened to spend a lot of time with this one this summer.
I did. I used this in a book club for kids in, I believe it was kindergarten through 2nd or 3rd grade that we did this summer. And I will tell you that every single kid loved it that I talked to. It's about a girl, Princess Marigold, who is a perfect princess unless her monster alarm, which is a sparkly ring she wears, goes off. And then she becomes the Princess in Black.
And what kind of things does she do when she's a princess in black?
Well, she fights monsters. And Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Slam, I believe, is one of her catchphrases. But it's just really good. It's perfect for those kids who are just starting chapter books, whether you read it aloud to them or whether they're reading it on their own. There's some great pictures in there.
And it's glossy page. I'm sure it's hard on the camera to see that, but it's kind of glossy pages.
Yeah.
And lots of fancy things are going on with the illustrations and the borders around the words and stuff. So very attractive and wanting wanting and enticing that reader in, and not just girls.
Yeah,
right?
no, the
we had a lot
boys
of
loved
boys
it too.
this summer.
Actually, there's a second book now, and I've handed that book to several boys that have read it.
And it's a hero story.
Yeah.
We overcome.
Yep,
So,
and
great.
it's just fun.
So Princess in Black.
And then we have another kind of new one. This is Castle Hangnail by Ursula Vernon. And what this one is about is a castle. This is a fantasy story. There's a castle that needs its leader, but the leader has to be wicked.
Ooh.
So this girl comes up, and she's about 12, and she says that she is the Wicked Witch, and she's going to take over.
All right. So kind of a fantasy,
Yep.
mystery, scary,
Adventure.
type of book. So all those types of readers would like that. And I know you have one last one that, let's hurry through that one so we
Okay.
can get to our picture books.
The Book Scavenger. So this is a great one about it's a family who moves to a new town, and this girl meets her next door neighbor, and they need to solve a mystery.
Ah, one of those
And-
kids in the neighborhood type of mysteries. And it's San Francisco, it says on the back.
Yep, yep.
And it's Valentine, a Valentine to be How I Adored This Book. It's a page-turner thriller of Valentine to the storied city of San Francisco.
Yes. So one of my, Bree, one of our other youth services librarians here, I think she said it was her new favorite book of the year.
Your favorite book of the year.
So.
So there you go. Let's go ahead and go to our younger, these guys are my favorite readers too, but this I think sometimes is a lot more fun because they're full of illustrations and
Definitely.
you have immediate satisfaction of,
Yep.
of reading the books and getting that knowledge that
So
is
this-
in all this.
And this is some of those older readers are going to enjoy anyway. This is Born in the Wild. It's a juvenile nonfiction book. But it's one you can share with all ages because if you look, it starts with a very simple thing. A baby is born. And then as you turn the pages, it gives more like this is what happens when a polar bear is born. This is what happens when a giraffe is born. The baby is hungry. And so it just goes through all these things that happens to animals when they're born, baby mammals, I guess.
That are burnt. And
And-
the illustrations are just darling.
They're adorable. So this is a great one to share for older kids to read on their own, but it's a great chance to share a nonfiction book with those younger kids as
And
well.
I see that you have another nonfiction poetry book. That's
I
next.
do. This is The Popcorn Astronauts and Other Biteable Rhymes, and this is by Deborah Riddell.
I like the front cover because I don't know if our viewers can see this or not, but it looks like popcorn, but it's actually little sheep that's all laying out flat that have been squished. So lots of good humor in this as well. Lots of
It's
a
all
really
about food, pretty
wonderful
much.
poetry book.
Yeah.
So let's go with the bunnies. What do you have going on there with those pink and orange bunnies?
So I grabbed this one because it's one that my son, who will be 3 in February, has really enjoyed. So this one is just so simple. I think there's 2 words reused in it the whole time, and it's bunnies. And so it's just a great one. My son reads it to himself sometimes. It's about a monster who wants to play with the bunnies.
Oh, cool.
And so toddlers actually can probably relate pretty well. And he's like, so excited to see them. But the bunnies run away, just like the bunnies in my yard run away from my son.
And everything that you get close to in a child,
Yep.
it runs away. So I see there's a few words and not typical page of pictures, page of words.
Yep, it's
Type.
pretty
So
simple.
lots of good storytelling that
Yep,
can go
you
on
can
between
talk
the
about
conversation.
it. So
So the next one you have on your pile is one of my favorites after I read it through, and another gift I think that is a gift for all year long and a gift for new mothers.
yeah, I would definitely new parents.
So. So on the back, I'm going to read this and then I'll let you talk about it. It says, "This is the first time there's ever been you, so I wonder what wonderful things you will do."
Right. So it's the wonderful things you will be, and it goes through a young child and just goes about how much it doesn't have to be a parent. It can be a grandparent or, you know, a aunt, uncle, friend, how much the other person loves them for all these reasons, and
Good and bad.
good and bad, yes, which
Or
is
bad
always
traits.
yeah, which is always important.
Right.
And then what will you do with these things? So agreed. I think this one, especially if you have a new parent in your life, this might be one to give them.
So the wonderful things you will be. And let's talk about the waiting book, because Kevin Hinckley is the author of this one, and he is one of my favorite authors and has been since I've been a children's librarian. So this one, we're waiting for lots of things to happen, and I know in December boys and girls are waiting a lot for things to happen too.
Right. And so it's kind of an ode to waiting, I guess. And it's very simple, and it's kind of a quieter book. When I was thinking about this one, I kept thinking, this is a good one for the end of the day when your child has been running all over and you can trap them on your lap and read this one and talk about the beautiful pictures, and just it gives them that calming time. It's all about these toys on this windowsill and all the things they like to wait for.
And they watch out the window, and they
the
wait
weather
very patiently.
changes.
And I think his illustrations help you wait. I mean, like you said, they're kind of subdued and peaceful, and you
Yes.
can just kind of cuddle up together and talk about that waiting. We're not going to talk exactly about the two board books that you have over there, but because we
Running low
but
on
board
time.
bugs are board books are a very good gift to have as well. And this one is very unique in the different poetry that we have about the important parts of people's of a
an
child's
infant's
life.
day.
And then I understand there's a personal reason, or a youth services personal reason for
Right.
this one. So
So this is another classic, hand, fingers, thumb. And it's one of my coworkers, Anastasia. She has a 7-month-old nephew, and it's his favorite book right now. And it's just so fun. It's got some great rhythm in it, and you can help them point out the parts of their body. You can help them drum. You can just do a lot with it.
And it's an old picture or easy to read book or a beginner reader book that they've now made into a board book. So it's easier for that little one to hold on to and to use. So these are great books, Danielle. I know we have 3 on our coffee table here, and one is a book that is written by a pair of authors and illustrators that are a great, fantastic, individually great, fantastic authors. So tell us a little bit about Divya and Flea.
So this is by an author that, if you're interested, you may know Mo Willems. He did the Pigeon books and the Elephant and Piggy, and it's his first chapter book. And it takes place in Paris, which is awesome. And it's about a cat and a dog who meet up and become great friends.
And so it's got that flavor of Mo Willems. So think about the Nuffle Bunny and the pigeon.
Yeah,
and
so
all
there's that humor. And then the illustrator, Tony DiTerlizzi, who, let's see, what?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let me look in the back of the book here. It
The
says,
Spiderwick
the Spiderwick Chronicles by Holly Black, The Spider and the Fly.
So he's fantastic.
yeah.
And at first when I saw this, I'm like, well, why didn't Mo Willems just illustrate it? I don't think anybody but Tony DiTerlizzi could have done it. It's
So,
beautiful.
Excellent purchase or
And it's for
excellent
those,
gift.
it's for juveniles, so kids in elementary school, maybe 3rd, 4th grade, I would say.
So this one, over the holiday here, we were playing a game that you were supposed to guess. So kind of like charades, only it was heads up. A game on I'm doing that because it was on the iPhone, and you had to tip it down to make it go forward, and it was amazing to me. It was all about animals and not, you had to guess them and describe them. And I know we did some of the Googling, but this book would have been fantastic to have done or to had around, because it's full of illustrations of different types of animals and what they are and how they come from. And so if you have like a science person in your family, this would be perfect for that child, and for the adult as well. and it also is just a beautiful book to have around. So when you do have or play those games, that you can just refer to
Reference.
and reference the different animals, because it does have the whole families. See if I can turn to that page.
Oh,
The whole
yeah.
family tree. So how that interconnects, and I think that's very important for us to be able to share that information. And when you're playing games like that, it's a wonderful time. Teachable moments happen all the time. The last one we have on our table, tell us about it. I'm sure
Well,
that everybody wants this book.
I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the text of this book. It's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. But this is an illustrated version, and it is beautiful. If you...
I can open it up.
Yeah, oh, you did it perfectly. Look at that. That's Hagrid's house right there at Hogwarts. And it's just got these beautiful illustrations. I know when we got it through, I opened it up to the first page and just laughed hysterically, because Jim Kay, the illustrator, just did a great job with bringing Rowling's humor and heart through. And it's a great gift for anybody on your list, whether they've read Harry Potter before or if they've hit that age where you think Harry Potter might be.
Well, and two things came to my mind when I was looking at this book and reading. And you're right, the text is our book.
Yeah.
And what came to my mind with that is that, we're making history here. J.K. Rowling's making history. I'm not. But this book is a book that was a classic fiction book that now they have illustrated it and made it a classic book to go down family to family.
Yeah.
So in our lifetime, there's been a classic written, like
Little Women.
Little Women, and that,
It's
and
Harry Potter.
That's what happens. You get a book like this. The other thing, the illustrations were not just reflections of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it when you said that it really took J.K. Rowling's words and descriptions and helped that along in imagination. So it wasn't just a copy of what was on the movie.
really
which,
liked that.
I mean, there's
The
nothing
movie
wrong
was
with
great.
the movies or
They
anything.
were great,
but
but yeah.
I just felt that it was a very unique picture book. And again, we're making history. It's a classic that was written in our lifetime that will be in other people, our children's classic. So fabulous book and a
so
fabulous
beautiful.
purchase that. And not that I'm biased or anything, but every home should have one of these in their home.
I'm going to
Whether
ask.
you
I have to
children
put it
or
on
you
my
don't.
list for my husband to purchase for me.
So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So wonderful gift books, and like I said, we have plenty more to share with you here at the library. To check them out, to get some experts' opinions about it and what
We
they're
love to
about.
do that.
So we can do your research. That's what librarians like to do, research. We can share that reader's advisory with you and help you with those gifts that keep on giving, the books that you would like to give to the important people in your life. And then you get to, because you buy it, you get to write in it,
Yeah.
where you don't get to do that with our books.
No,
or
hopefully
you shouldn't. So come on in and talk to us here at the Ames Public Library in the Youth Services Department. And we, as you can see, we can share many, many books with you and to help you make those decisions on those gifts that keep on giving all year long. Thank you.